welcome to Knitter's Gotta Knit podcast. This is stitch number 16, and I'm Carrie. On Ravelry, my name is I'm a Knitfomaniac, and on Instagram, it's just Knitfomaniac.
And I'm Darlene, Bags by Awesome Granny on Instagram and Awesome Granny on Ravelry.
It's been about 3 weeks and a day since we podcast. I know we went a little bit longer than we said we would last time, but we've got lots to talk about because, well, lots of knitting I have to talk about over the last 3 weeks, but it's been a fairly uneventful.
It seems like that we've kind of got on this like routine of every 3 weeks.
It almost seems like it, yeah.
Like just it's things, you know. Life's busy, I guess.
It can be. So, it can be. Paige's air conditioner's fixed. They said it was an fuse amperage versus breaker amperage thing, and it needed an electrician. So I had Jaime look at it. Jaime didn't find not a thing wrong with it, and it's been working ever since.
Well, that's good.
But I do have a parent fail. So when Paige bought this new house,
parent fail.
It is a parent fail. I failed her as a parent. When Paige bought this new house, of course she needed, things that you need when you have a house, hoses and the rake for the yard and, a mower and an edger and the whole 9 yards. So my parents bought her that. I ordered it online and had it sent to her house and everything. Well, she moved in October. And it's been winter time, so, the grass has been a little bit dormant until recently. As a matter of fact, I've mowed my grass twice since we've last podcast because it's just growing so fast. And, once your neighbor mows and then yours looks off because, they mowed, then you have to mow because you don't want to be that neighbor, that has the higher grass or whatever. So I've already mowed twice since we've last podcast. Well, Paige called me up one day and she's like, how do I mow my yard? I was like, haven't you mowed the yard before? And she's like, no, I had brothers. I was like, oh my God, I have never taught you how to mow a yard. I have never taught her how to mow a yard.
Well, you got her a lawnmower, didn't you? Told her just get out there and do it.
So when Jaime and I went to go look at her air conditioner after the service company went, I put her mower together, which really didn't take
Is it a gas?
No, it is not gas. It's electric. And I have some of my coworkers, I was telling them during a staff meeting that I was a parent failure, that I didn't teach my daughter how to mow a yard. And I said I got her an electric mower. I have an electric mower. And the guys kind of looked at me like, well, is it as powerful? And, does it do this? And blah, blah, blah. And I said, look, I have about 4 gas mowers and they're all sitting in my shed because I use them for the summer and then I drain out the gas like it says to and I winterize it, and when I go to start it again in the winter, nothing, and then I have to take it for a tune-up, and I'm tired of constantly taking it for every year. I have to take it for a tune-up, and I'm like, it shouldn't be that way. Well, with the electric one, I don't have to take it anywhere. I just pop those batteries in. And
that's so funny because we've always had gas mowers, and Bruce don't do anything to ours.
He just lets it sit all winter and then it starts right up?
Yeah.
Oh, mine don't. I must be retarded because mine don't. They don't start up at all.
Did you put gas back in them?
Yeah, I do. I had one where I had to mix oil. I had one where I didn't. And I think the third one I had to mix oil. I mean, I literally.
That's so weird.
And then I had a guy that mowed my yard for a while, and he liked one of the mowers. I was like, it don't start. It never. None of them start. And so he took it in exchange for a couple of mows of my yard for me, and but I still have 2 more in there. I was going to give one to Paige, but what good is it going to do her? We can't start them. So I should just put them out when there's like, bulky item pickup or something. Yeah. So, but anyway, so she called me the other day and she's like, how do I start it? So she was actually going to mow the yard. And I think this was like just 2 days ago. And so I was telling her how to start it and the whole 9 yards. She goes, what's the bag for? And I said, well, you put the bag on the back to catch the grass. She calls me and she goes, it's not catching the grass. And I said, is that black thing on the side, you have the circle with the blade going around, is that black thing on the side to let the grass out? She said, yeah. And I said, take that thing off because you can just like pop it off. And then the grass stays within the little circle and it goes into the bag. She mowed her entire yard, and then she says, Mom, there's no grass in the bag. I said, show me. And she like we were FaceTiming and she like shows me or whatever. And I said, oh, I forgot to tell you. You see that little black thing right there? There's like a stopper for like if you want it to shoot out the side, it'll stop it from going into the bag, and I forgot that it had that on there. So when I mow my yard, I will catch the grass in the front yard and put it in. We have these recycle bins that they pick up, you know, clippings and stuff, and I'll put it in there. But when I mow my backyard, I just let the grass go into the yard. It doesn't choke out my grass, and I only have one bin to pick up the clippings, and I usually mow my yard, like one day I'll mow the front and then one day I'll mow the back, and that bin isn't big enough to hold the grass from both my yards. It probably is for Paige's because her yard's much smaller than mine, but so I just let the grass fall in the backyard. The only thing that sucks about that is when Precious goes out right after I've mowed the yard. When she comes back in, you know, she brings in grass every once in a while. Of course, when Antonio's here, you know, and he goes outside to play, he'll bring in grass, but I can always just, you know, vacuum or sweep that up. But,
well, I'm glad that you redeemed yourself and
taught her how to mow the yard.
Mow.
Yeah, so she's pretty proud of herself.
Well, she should be.
Yeah,
that's good. So I got to tell you a funny story.
Okay.
A couple of weeks ago, Shyla and Tim came over, and I don't remember why they came. They stopped by the house to pick up. Oh, they were picking up Trenton's blanket and picking up a cup and some things. You know, Shyla always tease her because anytime they're at the house, they always leave something. And it's almost like you have to have an excuse to come back, you know, so she always leaves something that she has to, like, come back and pick up. And so they were there picking up stuff that was at the house. And we were standing out in the yard, and across the street from our house is some people's backyard, and they have a chain link fence. I live in a really old neighborhood, so some people have chain link fences, some people have wood fences. The original neighborhood had all chain link. And then as, you know, time goes on, people have changed them to wood. And anyway, the people right across the street, theirs is still chain link. And they have the biggest pit bull I have ever seen. His name is Rocky. And he is just massive. I mean, he's beautiful. He's like a blue-gray color. And he's so pretty, but he's so big that if he ever, like, ran up to me, I would die of a heart attack. Because he is just massive. Anyway, he plays with a 5-gallon Home Depot bucket.
That's his toy?
That's his toy. He throws it in there, and he jumps on it, and he rolls it, and then he gets it and throws it in there. I mean, he's just huge. Well, we were standing in the driveway talking to Shyla and Tim, and there was this other dog that was kind of a tall dog, but kind of like Paige's dog, you know, puppyish.
Puppyish,
you know, a big dog, but you can tell he's still a young dog.
Right,
Well, he was running back and forth at the chain link fence, and him and Rocky was playing through the fence. And, you know, you could tell they were just playing. Rocky wasn't being aggressive. He was, like, playing with him. I kid y'all not, we all saw this happen. That little puppy dog went over to the gate in Rocky's backyard, stuck his nose under the latch, opened it, and let Rocky out. And
here, let me open the gate for you.
And the owners, I guess they could hear that he was playing, and the lady, like, came outside and saw her gate was open, and Shyla was like, they went that way. And Shyla told him, said, ma'am, when you put him back in, you might want to, like, put something through the hole on that latch so it can't be lifted. And we told her that dog let him out. I mean, he literally just went over, stuck his nose under, and unlatched that gate. And she looked at Shyla like, you are out of your mind.
Dog can't do that.
Dogs can't do that, but he did. And the man went and got Rocky, and they brought him back and stuck him in the backyard. And that puppy was like, well, I want to, you know.
I want to play.
I want to play.
I'm just going to open that gate again.
It was so funny because they didn't, like, latch it. So I don't know. I have a feeling that puppy is escaping his yard by unlatching the gate. But it was so funny because he just let Rocky out and off they went. You know, it was the funniest thing.
That's cute. That's cute.
And my dog, you know, the ruler of my world.
The ruler of the whole house.
Yeah. So in our sewing room, in mine and Bruce's sewing room, we have 2 windows that are in a corner. So we have a window here and a window here. And Bruce built Susie a corner bed about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. So she has this nice corner window seat. It has a ramp for her to get up on it and stuff. Well, it really takes up a lot of room. And Bruce was saying the other day that, you know, if he's sewing during the day while I'm at work, Susie just gets on our bed. She don't go in the sewing room very much. And he said, so I think I'm just going to take that out. so that we'll have more room in the sewing room. And I was like, well, that's fine. He called me that morning. We were having this discussion that morning while I was getting ready for work, and he was getting ready for work. And whenever I was backing out of the driveway, he called me and he said, guess who's on her window seat?
She heard you.
She did. She was like, you're not getting rid of that.
You're not getting rid of that. So, I use it. I may only use it once a year, but I'm using it.
And he said she laid on it. He was sewing it, and she laid on it for about 3 hours that day because, you know, she was like, I'll prove it. You're not getting rid of my seat. So he was like, well, I guess I'll leave it in there because, you know, she gets on it every now and then. So
Paige went to the lake house. My sister owns a lake house not too far from here. She lives here in San Antonio. My parents live here in San Antonio. My sister lives here in San Antonio, and she's my only sibling. And they have a lake house. It's called Granite Shoals. It's right outside Marble Falls, and it's about hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours or so away, and it's on Lake LBJ, and it's a beautiful lake house.
LBJ is Lyndon B. Johnson.
Yeah. And so my sister, it's spring break here right now. It's the end of spring break. Today's Friday, and so it's been spring break for, you know, the weekend and all this week. And about a week before spring break, Paige was telling me, she says, I want to do something with Antonio for spring break, but, you know, I'm broke, and I don't know what to do. And I said, well, you know, Tante Janice is, sorry, we call my sister Tante Janice. Tante's German for aunt. I said, Tante is going to Colorado for spring break. So nobody's going to be using the lake house. You should call her and see, you know, if you can use it. And so she did, and Paige got to use the lake house, and she was debating whether or not she was going to take Jazz. And my sister has 3 large dogs. Well, one's not quite that large, but the others, like, Savannah is like a Rhodesian Ridgeback breed of some sort. I mean, she's pretty big. Hunter's like a golden lab or white lab. I mean, his hair looks a little bit more white than it looks golden to me. And then they have that, what is that doodle dog that's so smart? Labradoodle?
Labradoodle.
Labradoodle. She has a Labradoodle. And she's a dingbat. And she's supposed to be
That's
smart.
because she's got that lab. That lab is the dominant gene in that dog.
And but she's young. She's a lot like Jazz, you know. I mean, I make fun of Jazz and say Jazz is a dingbat, but it's really just because they're both puppies. And so my sister, of course, has dogs at the lake house and doesn't have a problem with Paige taking Jazz. And so I said, take Jazz. You know, she's going to love it. And she goes, well, I'm scared she's going to fall in the water. I said, Paige, you can stand in the water right by the dock. You know, she's going to be fine. And I bet you she doesn't touch the water. So I said, but if you don't want to take her, that's fine. I'll watch her while you're gone. So she took Jazz, and she said Jazz had the greatest time.
Did Jazz get in the water?
She did not get in the water. She barked at the water a little bit. Paige's best friends, Sam, short for Samantha, and Sam's 2 kids, Callan and Chloe, they went, and then of course Biz, which is Paige's best friend. She went, and so they, you know, they went on the kayak and the paddle boards and stuff, and Antonia was swimming. She sent me a couple different videos, and then I said, is Jazz having a good time? And she sent me this picture. So, you know, being that my sister has 3 dogs, at the lake house, she has these dog beds for the dogs.
Oh, and they're like top of the line dog beds.
They are pretty nice dog beds,
yeah.
And they're these big circle dog beds. Well, in one corner next to the fireplace, when she's not there, of course, she has all 3 dog beds stacked right there. You know, so it's kind of high up. And Paige sent me a picture. I'll have to insert it here. Paige sent me a picture of Jazz on the top.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, she's like on top of all 3 of them. Just, she's laying there. I said, I don't think I've ever seen her so exhausted. Because let me tell you, she's got a ton of energy.
I'm surprised the kids didn't get those dog beds and like
play with them
or lay on them.
Well,
you know, because they're so comfortable.
They are comfortable. Of course, my sister would be mortified if she knew everybody's laying on her dog's dog beds. But
because I mean, you don't want to give those dogs people germs. I mean, my goodness.
But they had a great time.
That's awesome.
She's back to reality. She's back
sucks.
here, and she's at work. And I actually have Antonio today. He's in another room. Hopefully you don't hear him. But they had a good time. So that was nice.
My daughter, she's gearing up at her job for summer, and you know she's the manager of a campground, Camp Waco, in one of the rivers in New Braunfels, and I had to laugh because she wrote this letter for her returning and new employees, and it was just the funniest thing. She put on there, you know, it is a long letter, but I laughed
About what they can and
what they can and can't do. And it was hilarious because she started it by saying, you know, welcome, you know, thank you for sharing your summer with me, blah, blah, blah. And then she said, and I know that you're all wanting to stop reading right now, but don't. Keep reading, because when I ask you if you read this and you tell me yes, I want it to be the truth. I laughed. I was like, wow. So...
Because she doesn't want you to lie to her.
Yeah. It was hilarious. It was just funny. Some of the things she said in there, I was like, oh my gosh. Told her, I said, before you give these to your employees, you might want to let your boss read it to make sure
that she or he is
that
okay
it's
with it.
Okay. And all her boss said was, put a signature line down there on the bottom so they can sign it and date it, and we can put it in their employee file. But it was funny. She on one of them, she said, the dress code. You know, she employs a bunch of kids.
Right.
You know, and she said
seasonal employees.
Yeah. She's like, if your underwear shows
out of your shorts,
that's not appropriate. You know, and tank tops that are 3 sizes too big and your bra shows, it's not appropriate. You know, and she said, and don't lie to me. Because if you lie to me, you're going to get an ugly lecture. And depending on the lie, possible termination. And I was like, wow. I mean, she's tough.
Well, but, you know, I'm sure it's hard to work with some of these seasonal kids, you know, that, you know, some of them take the job very seriously. And some of them are just like, oh, well, my dad said I had to do something this summer. So.
And she had this one girl. She was going to interview this girl at, I don't know the exact time, so I'm just going to say 9 o'clock. I think the interview was like at 9 o'clock on this certain day. Well, this girl shows up at 9:45 the next day. And Shyla told her, said, your interview was yesterday at 9 o'clock. And she said, well, I'm sorry, I thought it was today. And Shyla said, okay, I can give you that, but you're still 45 minutes late. Your appointment was at 9, not 9:45, so, you know, I don't need you. And she was like, you're not even going to interview me? And Shyla told her, said, if you can't show up for a job interview on time, you're probably not going to show up for work on time. So she sent her on down the road. And, I mean, you know, I have to hand it to Shyla. I mean, summers are really hard for her because she works like a crazy person. And, you know, works with a bunch of kids that, like you said, may want to be there or may not want to be there.
Yeah.
But,
that's got to be rough. That's got to be rough.
But, and Nina, my nephew, and he's closing on his house next week.
Yay, Shannon, congratulations.
Well, him and Nina was here. They got here last Saturday, and then they left on Tuesday. And Shannon, that kid, him and I, we were teasing Bruce and Nina because Shannon and I did all the cooking. We were like, y'all just go ahead and sit there and watch your TV, and we'll be lazy. We'll be lazy. Y'all, we'll cook for you. Well, we were cooking chicken fried steak one night, and I have glass canisters in my kitchen. I've had them for years. I mean, they were like super cheap, but you know, they're glass. And Shannon picked up the flour one, and he was kind of being a little bit silly. And the lid of that canister came off, and when it hit the floor, I mean, it shattered. Glass went. Bruce actually found a piece of glass in the living room this morning.
Wow.
And I mean, and he felt so bad. And I mean, glass went everywhere. Well, he vacuumed and we swept and we got it cleaned up the best we could. But you know how glass is.
Glass is. It's terrible.
And I mean, he just felt awful. And I told him, I said, Shannon, don't worry about it. I mean, they're old canisters, and I'm surprised that one of the grandkids, or me or Bruce, or somebody hadn't broke one of those already. I told him, I said, do not. He said, I can go to Walmart and see if I can find one. I told him, I said, do not go buy a canister. It's no big deal, you know. Well, guess what was delivered to my house yesterday?
Canister for your flour?
A canister. But, you know, I told Bruce, I said, you know, as much as I told him not to do that, I appreciate the fact that he cares enough, you know.
He did it anyway.
That he's not one of those people that's like, oh, well, I broke something, no big deal, you know, just... You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
So he's a good kid. I do appreciate that he, you know, did that, but he certainly didn't have to. Right. And I sent him a message and I told him, I said, I told you not to do that. And he said, I know, I just felt bad. But
that was sweet of him.
It was sweet of him. Like I said, I'm glad he's that kind of person versus the kind that, you know, can break something and be like, oh, you know, no big deal. You know what I mean?
No, I get it.
But man, I tell you, I I'm at work today, and Carrie's off today, and she's going to be out of town this weekend, so or we would have podcasted tomorrow, and Peyton could have been with us tomorrow.
Sorry.
So, but we'll get you in, Peyton, I promise. But I was on the phone with my doctor because I was trying to make a doctor's appointment, and I had to go to the bathroom so bad I could not remember how to lock my computer. We're not allowed under our security policy at work. We're not supposed to walk away from our computer without locking our screen. And I texted Carrie, I can't remember how to lock my... I mean, I was like in so much pain.
I was like, Control-Alt-Delete.
And I was doing Control-Alt-Enter. Control-Alt-Enter, it's not working. So I finally just got up and I told Jimmy, I said, watch my computer, I gotta go. So, because I was dying. Oh.
That's funny.
But
I don't think I've ever had to pee that bad, though, or I didn't remember something.
Oh, it was fixing to be embarrassing. So,
yeah, well, you know, I've probably been there before, but thankfully probably at home. So.
And our bathrooms are not close to our desks.
No, they are not. So, and that brings me to a story. Darlene drinks a lot. And you're supposed to. She drinks a lot of water.
Okay.
Water, sorry, not alcohol by any means. She's good. She drinks, water during the day. She has tea, she has coffee. She doesn't put sugar in it. She doesn't put creamer in it. She, drinks them regular, all healthy in the whole 9 yards. Me, I got a pound of sugar in my coffee. I've got a pound of sugar in my tea. And I don't like to drink water. I hardly ever drink water. And every time I say, oh, I'm going to drink more water, I'm going to drink more water, I can never do it because I cannot stand having to go to the bathroom 20 times a day. It drives me insane. It just drives me insane. And, there's a few times where I'm afraid, like I'm going to sneeze and not make it. But the bathrooms are far from our desk.
One time we were at the lake. I always get on to Carrie about like not drinking enough. And
does.
We were at the lake, and at her sister's lake. We go every summer, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's awesome. But we were getting our stuff ready, and her sister has this fabulous dock, and we go out on the dock, and we sit under the ceiling fans, and we, sit out there like for 15 hours and knit and, drink a little bit other stuff other than water. And,
yeah.
and I mean, and it's so much fun. Well, one day we were getting our stuff ready to go down to the dock, and Carrie gets this bottle and puts this much water in it. And I'm like, gosh, Carrie, don't overdo it there. But I'm like, you can take a whole bottle of water. Like, oh, no, all she needed was this much water.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. I was using it for other things.
It was just funny.
It was hilarious.
It was hilarious.
But yeah, I don't drink a whole lot of water. But
I get on to her all the time, but they don't do any good.
She doesn't use sunscreen. I mean, I feel like I'm defending myself.
I bought
here.
some for our cruise.
So we're getting ready for the cruise, and she sends this text message to the group of ladies because I think we have 17 days till the cruise, and she's like, "I bought sunscreen," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's not a miracle worker. You got to use it in order for it to work."
Dang it! That's because every year when Bruce and I go on vacation, we take sunscreen.
She never uses it,
and I hate sunscreen. I just hate it, And last year I thought, okay, I'm going to kind of be good and I'm going to wear sunscreen. So I put sunscreen on, and then we're going through Salt Lake City, Utah. And you got Salt Lake, Ogden, and a couple of other pretty big towns. And, the traffic is really heavy. And I start sweating, and I get sunscreen in my eye. So I'm riding through all of that traffic with one eye closed, watering like crazy. And I texted Carrie when we got stopped, and I told her, I said, this is why I don't wear sunscreen. I hate sunscreen. And people say, use the faces only, blah, 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 the no sweat. I have yet to find a sunscreen that doesn't get in my eyes.
Wow.
And especially on the motorcycles, riding a motorcycle is a little bit different than sitting on a dock.
Of course,
But I also don't use it sitting on the dock.
No, she doesn't.
And one year I got just my calf and my leg.
She did.
Got like 3rd-degree burns.
It was so bad.
It was
she did
so
not
bad.
have sunscreen on.
And I called my husband and I told him, I said, Bruce, I got really sunburned today. And I said, and Carrie wouldn't let me use any of her sunscreen.
I was like, no, that's not true. That's not true. Of course, Bruce didn't believe her for a
Bruce
minute.
is like, yeah, we know that's the reason you got sunburned.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try to be good on the cruise. I'm going to try to, think about putting it on.
You have to make sure that I put it on because Jaime says that's one of your responsibilities now because he's not going. Because he's the one that keeps me, like, with sunscreen on.
Oh.
It's like, babe, got enough sunscreen on? Babe, got enough sunscreen on?
I will make sure you have plenty of sunscreen on.
She's going to be like my mama.
So, I can do that. I can make you put it on.
And it's funny, Bizzle, she put, Paige's best friend, she put on one of the Snapchats the day after they were at the lake, and she puts on her Snapchat, she says, both of my best friends are mothers, and neither one of them made me put sunscreen on, and now I'm burnt. And like she's showing a video of them or whatever. And I was thinking, well, they ain't your mother.
Yeah,
you know, their kids aren't burnt. But yeah, you're gonna have to be my mom.
Okay, I will. I can do that.
To make sure that I get my sunscreen on.
I actually went and did a little bit of cruise shopping. I bought. I wasn't gonna take a swimsuit because the thought of wearing a swimsuit just makes me like want to crawl in a hole and die.
I hear you.
And but Brenda, my boss, she was like, you cannot go on a cruise and not take a swimsuit. You're going to be, you know, you might want to get in the pool or you might want to get in the water when you get to the, you know, for the excursion. And I thought, okay. So I went online and I found, you know, one that I thought I would be okay with, and went to Academy and was there for about 5 minutes. I mean, I found the exact one I saw online, bought it, and I mean, it'll be okay, you know. So I did buy a bathing suit, and I bought some dresses that I returned.
You returned them?
Yeah, all of them except the tie-dye one. I kept it. And then I bought some shorts. So I think I'm good to go now.
I copied Darlene. I got the same shorts that she got. I thought, well, I'm going to be like really... I wasn't planning on doing that much shopping. I already have a bathing suit. I have 3 actually, but one's really small on me. I was a lot thinner when I got that one. But the other 2 fit me. And I don't wear them very often, you know, because I'm the same way. The thought of being in a bathing suit is just miserable. But you know, if I have a nice cover-up or whatever, I'll be fine, and I'll wear a bathing suit to the beach, and
I will too,
and probably even to the pool on the cruise ship. You know, I don't have any problem with that. It's not like I'm laying out for a tan or anything, but you know,
because you'll have on sunscreen.
Yeah, I'll have sunscreen on. I burned so bad. I mean, I burned very, very badly. Just with being out in the sun for a little while, I burned very badly. But I didn't have as much stuff, and I thought, man, I'm feeling a little inadequate. So I went and got the same shorts that she got.
These shorts are awesome because they look like denim, but they're
soft and stretchy.
Peyton, you're going to love them. I'll show them to you tomorrow because they're just like your jean pants.
Yeah, they're pretty
so cool. I
got us some hats. I think I put it over here to show us. I got us these hats to wear out on the...
I think they're so cute.
What do you think?
I think it's adorable.
They're like a little... I got Darlene a red one. But they only had one black.
Well, since we're talking about the cruise, I'll go ahead and show this. There's going to be quite a few of us on the cruise, and we all got these bags. And there's going to be like 60 or so people on there with this same bag. So I took mine and Carrie's bags to my work, to this guy I work with. His wife does monogramming, and had her put our names on them. And I think she did just a super cute job of putting our names.
Same one. Yep.
Yeah.
So, and we'll have this like as a carry-on. They say to make sure that you, you know, because it takes a while, I guess, for the porters to get the bags to your room. So you have like a little carry-on, you know, with just some small essentials in case you don't get your luggage until fairly later.
Brenda was telling me that before the ship, it whatever you call it, debarks, leaves the dock.
Debarks.
Embarks.
I don't know.
Goes out to sea. That we'll have a fire, not a fire drill, but an evacuation drill. Like it's like it's almost like the airplane thing where they say, you know, go this way, but said that you'll have a piece of paper when you sign on that says, in case of emergency, you know, your room goes to the dining room or whatever, and you have to like go whenever they're doing this drill and check in. So anyway, we'll have to do that, but you know, surely it won't take very long to do some evacuation. But I mean, that is good because, you know, if a ship goes down, we want to know where to go.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but well, I guess we'll talk about knitting. Unless you have anything else?
I don't think so. I just wanted to let everybody know that Brinley's better.
She is. Thank you. Casey took her to the doctor a couple of last week. Was it last week? And she was so anxious about that doctor's appointment because she you know, she was telling Casey, what if they tell me I can't? I mean, she was just so done with the whole, you know, not being able to walk and stuff. And Casey told her, said, Brinley, you're going to walk out of there with 2 shoes on. And she did. And she was so excited.
That's so good. That's
so
good.
Thank you for everybody for asking about her and stuff. And she's doing great.
That's great. That's great.
So
what are you knitting on? Casey's hat.
Casey's hat.
It's just podcast knitting. So these podcast knitting items, they'll never get done until we podcast enough.
And I am going to take this on the cruise in case I want to just sit and do, you know, in the round knitting. I'll work on this. So I only have about another 1.5 or 2 inches of ribbing.
I'll get a picture inserted. But you know, it's just black ribbing.
Yeah,
it's
just
not nothing
so
really
much
all that
fun.
Exciting.
It's one of my favorite projects to work on.
She's so funny. I'm of course working on my podcast knitting, which are my Harry Potter socks. And this is the January colorway of the Harry Potter Yarn Club that Darlene bought me for Christmas. And I have turned the heel on both of my socks. So now I'm just knitting up. And I'll snap a picture and get it in there. It's just a Fish Lips Kiss heel. I'm on Hiya needles, 2.5 millimeter non-sharps fixed circular.
They look great. So have you enjoyed the Yarn Club?
I have enjoyed the Yarn Club, and you know, it's not like we have a whole lot of stash enhancements because, you know, Darlene and I are on a yarn diet. But here are my other 2 skeins from the club, and I'll insert pictures. This one came the last day that we podcast, like later that afternoon, and this one came yesterday or the day before. I don't remember. Maybe Tuesday. This one's by far my favorite.
This one is really pretty.
Oh wait, we're not in focus. This camera needs to focus again. I guess I held them up too close. But I'll get a picture insert. Sorry about that. So, insert picture here, the 2 new ones, but I have really enjoyed this Yarn Club. And each base has been different.
Really?
Yeah, so the first one was a cashmere base. The second one is the plump merino fingering, which is 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. But it only has 407 yards to 100 grams. And then this one is obviously thinner, but it's still fingering. It has 470 yards to 100 grams. Wow. And it's the soft sock merino fingering, which is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. But so they've all been a different base, and I've enjoyed knitting with the cashmere one, and I've enjoyed touching and feeling the other 2. They'll probably end up being socks as well.
I mean, that's really a good idea.
It is kind of a good idea, to get everybody to
try different bases.
Yeah, to try all the different things.
That's a good idea.
Stuff. So,
well, before we get in on the whips, I wanted to talk about Bruce's sweater for a minute. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. And I also have a picture. I finally gave my sister her sweater that I'll insert here when we went for dim sum on my birthday. I gave her the sweater that I made for her, and she loves it.
It fits her perfect.
She's probably wearing it in Colorado right now.
Probably.
So, yeah.
It fits her perfect. So Bruce's also fits him, and he really, really liked it, or likes it. But he was telling me that he wished that the collar was longer, and whenever I was doing the buttons, he only wanted 5 buttons on it instead of the 7 that the pattern calls for. And I was like, okay. So he told me that he wished that he would have told me to just put the 7 buttons on, because they did gap a little bit, because he does wear his buttoned up. And he said that the collar bothered him because it wasn't long enough to turn down, but it felt like it was rubbing on his neck. So last weekend...
The collar used to be to probably here.
Yeah, maybe even a little lower. Yeah, about like that.
And then after you make the collar, you pick up stitches on the band to knit out the button band.
So I told him, I said, well, I can fix it. So I took off the button bands, and I unbound the collar, and I extended the collar to 6 inches. And then on the button band, because, I had this issue with my yarn being different colors, even though it's the same dye lot, I made sure that the button band one, the one that has the actual buttons on it, was in the skein that wasn't going to match. And then I saved the skein that did match for the button side that had the holes on it. So when it's buttoned, the one that's underneath is, the different color. And it's so frustrating because it is so much a different color.
It really is. I'll see if I can get a good picture to
But,
show how different of a color it is. Even same dye lot, same yarn, same everything.
But Bruce likes it much better. And that's, you know, I told him, I said, I don't mind doing it because I want you to like it. So
yeah, you do. You want people to like it and to wear it.
So that's what I did most of last weekend while Shannon and Nina was here, was redo his collar and the button bands.
It is very, very beautiful.
But it is frustrating that you go to the pains of getting, you know, dye lots that are the same. And then there's obvious different colors. I mean, that was frustrating. But Bruce and Shannon, neither one can see the difference. Bruce was like,
so Shannon's colorblind too.
Shannon, come look at this. Can you tell a difference? And he was like, no. I'm like, okay, then I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing I could do about it anyway. I mean, that was all the yarn I had.
Right.
So, but I'm glad I fixed it and it's done, and he likes it much better with the collar longer.
That's great. That's great.
But
I have one other finished object that I don't have here to show you. It's some socks. I decided to join Sock Madness this year. I've done Tortoise Sock in previous years, but I've never done Sock Madness, and I've kind of always wanted to. So sign up was in February, and then I think the first pattern dropped like the 1st or 2nd of March. I don't remember. And I went ahead and knit them. I knit them in black and Knit Picks Fleechy Rainbow. The black was some drops yarn or whatever, but they fit my mother, so I gave them to my mom. I'll of course insert a picture. But I was really pretty proud of myself because it's a pattern sock.
I think they were awesome.
It's just ribbing. It's not like this fancy pattern, but it's got like ribbing pattern in it. And then of course the very little bit of color work in the top. But I knit them in 7 days. And I don't usually, I mean, Darlene thinks I can knit anything in like 5 minutes, which I love that she thinks that of me, but I don't knit socks in 7 days. I mean, I might be able to sneak out a plain vanilla with no pattern on it in 7 days, but I pretty much stuck with it and said I want to qualify and, you know, get on a team. Now, I don't expect to get past round 1 at all. But I was pretty excited that I qualified.
They were pretty awesome socks.
They were very nice socks. And my mother, I think I've mentioned before, she has a few different health issues, and she had heart surgery many, many years ago. And when they did that, they had to take an artery out of her left leg. You know, one of those big, larger arteries to, you know, use up here in the heart or whatever. And sometimes by the end of the day, her feet swell. Well, her left foot, of course, swells more than her right foot because of the circulation differences, because that big thick vein or whatever is gone. So it's hard for me to always have a pair of socks that I've made that will fit her, because she has such a thick, I guess, instep, because that's kind of where, you know, her ankles swell. And so when I was at my parents' house a couple of Fridays ago for my father's birthday dinner, and I had them in my bag, and I said, "Here, Mommy, try these on." And they fit her, and she liked them. And the last pair of socks that I gave her, she's practically worn to threads. So I said, just take them, keep them, and, you know, keep your feet warm. So I have the picture to insert, but
I really did like them.
She really loved them.
They were nice.
She really loved them.
They were really, really nice.
And pretty soon, I guess, round 1 will start. And like I said, I'm not planning on qualifying or going any farther, but I was happy to qualify and get on a team, and I will attempt the 2nd pair of socks. I just don't know how far I'll get. So that was my only finished object. And then you had Trenton's blanket, which I'll insert a picture of.
Yeah.
I have a picture of Trenton using it. So, but we didn't have that here to show either.
No.
Man, we're worthless today.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like all inserting pictures or something.
But
well, how about another whip?
Okay, so I have Shannon's sweater.
That's her favorite whip.
Yes. So I have his sleeves done, and when he was here, I put a waist yarn in, because if I needed to make them longer, I could rip back. Because the last sweater I made that ended up being my brother's, the sleeves were 7 inches too long. So I knitted these shorter than what the pattern calls for, and they actually, when I put them up to him last weekend, they were about 1.5 inches short. But this yarn stretches like a fiend, so I think they'll be okay.
I think they will be
too.
too.
And then I have his back. I started the back.
And I'll take pictures. I don't want the camera to start freaking out on focusing if I put it too close.
And I'm on schedule. I'm a little bit ahead of schedule.
It's making my nose itch because it's got like little fuzzies.
I'm supposed to have this done by May 19th. And so far I'm a little ahead of my schedule.
Oh, yeah, you are.
So
she's already on the 21st
So I'm hoping I want to stick with it because I know that if I put it down, I may not get back to it because this is the third one of this sweater that I've knitted, and so I'm a little bit not that into it, but I need to get it done. Right. So
she wants to get it off her plate.
So I'm trying. I'm going to take it on. I'm going to take it on the cruise and hopefully, make some headway on it.
Well, I have my biggest whip that I've been working on more than anything else is my portage. And I have it in my new bag that I love so much. No, I don't have my portage in this one. I have my portage in a different one, but the bag's over here. I'll have to show you that one later. Sorry. Last time we podcast, I don't even know where the marker is. I was like right here on the
fabulous.
Body. I have since done 2 sleeves. 1 sleeve. 2 sleeves.
In 3 weeks?
In 3 weeks.
Wow.
And I have picked up 351 stitches around the collar. I'm going to try and get pictures of this, but it's very hard. I'll put it on my mannequin or something. But I have picked up 351 stitches around the collar, and I am currently knitting 6 inches of 351 stitches all the way around, back and forth. And I think I'm on row 48 or 50 of all those stitches, and I think I have to go to 64. That's a guess, to where I think I need to be for 6 inches. But anyway, I really want to have it done for the cruise. But I did want to mention this bind off. So when I was doing the body, it asks for a tubular bind off. And it's a beautiful bind off. I'll insert some pictures of some close-ups. But it kind of just looks like the knitting kind of just goes around it. And what I have come to find out with this tubular bind off, it's kind of like a Kitchener type thing where you have a long tail and you put it on a darning needle and you do these steps, all these different things. Knit one, take it off, or knit one, keep it on, or whatever. And what I came to find out for a 1x1 ribbing is that if you had a 1x1 ribbing and you put all the knit stitches, so every other stitch that's a knit, on a needle in the front, and you put all the purl stitches, every other stitch, on a needle in the back, and you were to hold them together, now it would be just like the Kitchener stitch. Now, realize that we're not closing anything up because the 2 needles that you're holding are really just every other stitch within the knitting. So I did the tubular bind off, and then I got off track, and then I had to untubular bind off, which is a pain to unsew a bind off, and then re-go, and different times back and forth. I have some different pictures. I honestly think it would have been easier if I would have taken the time to put it on 2 needles and just done the Kitchener that I'm used to. Possibly because I've done Kitchener several times with socks. Maybe it was just easier for me. But if you pay attention to the steps of what a tubular bind off does, that's basically what it is. It's if you were to have your purls in the back needle and your knits in the front needle, and you go in and you knit one off, purl one on, purl one off, knit one on, just same thing all the way. So
it's just beautiful.
But I am getting pretty excited about it.
That's awesome. Well, all of my whips are sweaters, every single one of them.
Alrighty.
So here is Shyla's her colorwork sweater.
I'll take a picture of it so we don't.
And I woke up like at 3 this morning thinking, oh my gosh, what if it's too small?
Well, then she's just gonna.
Then I guess Peyton will get a sweater, and I have to make her another one. But it's a pattern by Tin Can Knits called Clay Quat. Clay Quat.
I think I've put a link in previous episodes, and I'll put it in these stitch notes too.
I just started the color work. I think it looks good. I want to get it to the color work done on the bottom, and then on the cruise I can just knit in the round. And I think that'll just be awesome.
That will be awesome.
And then one of these days I'm going to steek it, and Carrie's going to film it.
We're going to have it within a podcast.
But yeah, I thought, oh my gosh, I should have made the medium and not the small. But if it's too little, then Peyton will just get it, and then I'll make Shyla. Yeah, I'll make Shyla another one. But I think it looks good.
It looks great. I'll take a picture and show the little details and stuff. So, we have one whip that's the same, but my only other whip that's not the same is my temperature blanket.
Oh, I didn't bring mine.
It's just come along. I got about 2.5 to 3 weeks behind on this puppy, and I caught it up last weekend, so I'm about 1 week behind now. And I did not enjoy catching up 3 weeks on this.
I've got to get mine caught up.
I would really like to try and stay at no more than 2 weeks behind. So, I mean, I know you guys are probably going to get tired of seeing this, and I won't show it every single time that I work on it, but that's where I am with that. So, and then we have a whip that is new, and we both started, and that's what I'm putting in my brand new bag.
And this is the Rustic Coat by Cohi Locatelli.
Yes,
and
rugged coat.
Rugged coat, yeah. And I'm a little bit behind because I'm just always behind on everything. But I really love it. I think it carries a lot farther than me, but I'm hoping that I can get some good knitting time this weekend and maybe get semi-caught up. But I'm depending on the cruise to let me get a lot done, too. So,
I have my yarn
but
all over
I'm
the place.
using, my color is blue in this Knit Picks yarn that we had in our stash. And Carrie's is gray. So,
it's a different construction than I've ever done.
it's really weird.
So I'm pretty sure this is my right front, and I think it's gonna go something like,
It's really strange the way.
yeah,
I'm hoping to get to
something
this
like
point
this,
this weekend.
because this is the neck increases.
Yeah.
So something like this, and then of course pretty soon I'll be picking up from the provisional cast on and doing the same thing leftwise on the other side. But I kind of got a mess right here, so I'll have to clean all that up first. But we're enjoying it, you know. We're enjoying, we're both planning on taking it on the cruise. So,
and then
something to work on.
My only other thing is something I'm fixing to start. You know, I have to do blankets. I counted up the other day. I was bored and I looked in Ravelry to see how many blankets I've made. I've made like 20 blankets for my family.
Alrighty, she's a blanket making machine.
And I'm almost done. I only have a few more of this crochet one that I need to make, and then I'll be done. But I'm making this one for my future grandson. He's 6. My son's girlfriend's little boy, and I won't take the yarn out, but it's going to be just
I'll take a picture.
Just the chevron blanket, but it's Ninja Turtle colors. So he wants Casey told me he would like a Ninja Turtle blanket, so that's why the color choices.
The color choices are. And she's gotten started, and it looks great. Looks really good.
But
I think the only other thing is I have a couple of stash enhancements that I forgot to mention last time. We have a winner that we have to draw, or I already drew and I have to announce. We have another giveaway with Fiber Nymph, and so let me pull this out. I've kind of got a mess going on over here. The old stupid sweater. I wanted to show everybody the quilt that Shyla made me. Darlene was talking about it last podcast, and I absolutely love it. Shyla, thank you so much. It's flannel, and it's beautiful, and it's gorgeous, and I love it. And it has an alien that I've named Alan. I don't know if I can find him. He's right here. He's an orange alien. I'll take a picture.
yeah, I don't know where they went. They flew away.
I'll get pictures put in there. But Shyla, thank you so much for this amazing, amazing quilt. I use it all the time. And Precious loves it too. So, I'm going to put this over here. And then, what else did I have?
You said you had some giveaways.
Oh yeah, so we have a giveaway of this outdoorsy headband and neck warmer by Lisa from Fiber Nymph Dye Works. we had 40 or 42 or something. I did the number. It's number 6. Renegale. I know that you comment in the podcast and also on Ravelry. So thanks for being such a great watcher and, you know, coming back for more punishment. But if you'll get me a PM or an email, my email is imanitfilmmaniac@gmail.com, or just imanitfilmmaniac on Ravelry. Send me a PM with your details and I'll get this out in the mail to you.
And thank you, Lisa.
Yes, thank you, Lisa. And then I wanted to show these pom-poms that I got from Knit Picks. I know that pom-poms are kind of like all the rage right now.
I want to make Peyton a hat and put a pom-pom on it. I think that'd be so cute.
I think it would be cute. And so I got the 2 different sizes, and they're affordable, and I've got like something hard on the inside, but they're soft and they're cute. I got a couple of different colors. And they're from Knit Picks, and I just thought they were the neatest little things.
They are. They're really cute.
So I guess while I'm on my yarn diet, I have to, you know, buy other things, because I got one other thing, which is a little counter. Like, you just click the little button, and it like does a little count thing, and they come in different colors, and
it's super cute.
I have one of these in metal that I actually got from Jaime years ago, and he uses it as an electrician when he's like, you know, like on a construction site or whatever, and he's got to like count all the outlets. He'll have this in his hand, and he'll just, you know, click it every time he sees an outlet, and he goes around and does this stuff. And I said, I need to borrow that, and I have it in a bag with one of my blankets from probably, I mean, before Antonio was born, and he's 6. I mean, the blanket's pretty old, so, but anyway, so I got those in a bunch of different colors. So that is super cute.
You know I'm stealing one of those from you.
Yeah,
okay.
I got some in the living room. You're welcome to some. And then the last thing that we have is the last giveaway. It's from Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. It's self-striping, s'more swirl, Fiber Nymph Dye Works in the bounce space. So I'll open up a thread and go to her shop and tell us what you love, and we'll do a drawing on the next one. And I think that's finally all we have.
Yep. And so we will be on, the next one won't be until after our cruise.
Right.
So we will takes a bunch of fun pictures. We're going to try to do a little,
so it will
like
definitely be
video.
3 weeks. It'll definitely be 3 weeks, if not a couple of days after. So, because we will be on the cruise. But yeah, we'll try and take a little snippet and maybe insert it somewhere. But
okay, well, thank y'all.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.